Every morning at 5:30, I do something my colleagues warned would kill me. At 94, I'm healthier than doctors half my age. My name is Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, and for 70 years I practiced medicine the way I was taught. I prescribed pills for symptoms, recommended rest for fatigue, and watched my patients grow weaker while following my advice perfectly. Then something happened that changed everything. It was a Tuesday morning in 1993. I was 68, considering retirement, when Mrs. Yamamoto shuffled into my office. 81 years old, diabetic, barely able to walk. She looked at me with tired eyes and said, "Doctor, I'm ready to die." I opened her chart, preparing another lecture about medication compliance, but something in her voice stopped me. What if, I heard myself asking, what if we're approaching this wrong? That question would haunt me for months. Because you see, I had been watching something troubling. My younger colleagues were burning out, developing high blood pressure, chronic fatigue. Meanwhile, their patients were getting sicker despite following every protocol. Something wasn't adding up. So I began to study something medical school never taught me. I studied the healthiest 90-year-olds I could find. What I discovered wasn't in any textbook. The first person I interviewed was my neighbor, Mr. Sato, 92 years old, still tending his garden every morning. When I asked his secret, he laughed. "Secret, I just listen to what my body tells me." "But what does it tell you?" I pressed. He walked over to his kitchen sink and filled a large glass with water, drank the entire thing slowly, deliberately. Every morning, first thing, my body wakes up thirsty from 8 hours without water, so I give it water. Such a simple thing. But when I researched it, I realized most people start their day with coffee, tea, or nothing at all. They ignore their body's most basic need. That became my first rule. Honor your body's morning thirst. I started drinking 2 full glasses of water every morning before anything else. Within a week, the afternoon fatigue I'd carried for years began to lift. My mind felt clearer, my digestion improved. But there was something else Mr. Sato did that intrigued me even more. "Watch," he said, leading me to his back door. He slipped off his shoes and stepped onto the bare earth of his garden. Then he just stood there, breathing deeply for maybe 2 minutes. "The ground," he explained, "it settles something inside me, makes me feel connected." I thought this was simply cultural tradition until I met Dr. Sarah Mitchell, an American cardiologist visiting our hospital. She mentioned something called grounding, direct skin contact with the earth. Apparently, it helps regulate the body's electrical systems, reduce inflammation, improve sleep. "You mean," I asked her, "walking barefoot isn't just pleasant, it's medicine?" She smiled. "Sometimes the simplest things are the most powerful." That night, I tried it myself, walked barefoot in my small garden for 5 minutes before bed. I slept deeper than I had in months. This became my second rule: touch the earth every day. But the most powerful discovery came from observing Mrs. Kimura, a 96-year-old woman who still worked part-time at her family's shop. I watched her eat lunch one day, fascinated by something I'd never noticed. She paused before every bite. Not praying, not thinking, just pausing. "Mrs. Kimura," I asked, "why do you wait?" "I'm listening," she said simply. "My stomach tells me when it's ready for the next bite." This sounds absurd to our rushed modern minds, but I realized something profound. She was having a conversation with her body. She was asking, "Are you satisfied? Do you need more? What do you need next?" Most of us eat by the clock, by portion sizes, by what we think we should eat. She was eating by wisdom older than any diet plan. I started this practice myself. Before every meal, I would pause and ask my body what it truly needed. Not what my mind wanted, not what the schedule demanded, but what my body was genuinely hungry for. Within months, my weight naturally stabilized. My energy became steady throughout the day. Most surprising of all, food began to taste better. It was as if my body had been waiting decades for me to finally start listening. This became my third rule: eat in conversation with your body, not your schedule. Now you might be thinking, "Dr. Tanaka, these sound like small things. How could they possibly keep you healthy at 94? Here's what I learned that changed everything. We've been taught to think of our bodies as machines that break down over time. But what if that's wrong? What if our bodies are actually partners? Partners who've been trying to communicate with us our entire lives. Every symptom, every ache, every moment of fatigue. What if these aren't failures but messages? When I was 70, I developed what doctors called chronic back pain. The prescribed treatment was rest medication, maybe surgery eventually. but I decided to try something different. Instead of fighting the pain, I listened to it. Every morning when the stiffness was worst, instead of taking a pill, I would ask, what are you trying to tell me? And then I would move gently, breathe deeply, and pay attention. Slowly, I began to understand. The pain was worst after days when I sat too long, breathed too shallowly, carried stress in my shoulders. My back wasn't breaking down. It was asking for movement, breath release. So I developed what I call micro conversations with my body. Brief moments throughout the day when I would pause and ask, what do you need right now? Sometimes the answer was water, sometimes movement, sometimes just 3 deep breaths. Always something simple, always something I could give. This became my 4th rule. Ask your body what it needs, not what you think it should want. Within 6 months, my chronic back pain was gone. Not managed, not medicated, gone. But I hadn't discovered the most important thing yet. The thing that would change how I understood not just health, but what it truly means to be alive at any age. The revelation came to me at the most unexpected moment. I was standing in the hospital chapel having just lost a patient, a 42-year-old man who had done everything right according to medical protocols, yet his body had simply given up. I felt angry, defeated, and then I noticed something. My hands were clenched into fists. My breathing was shallow and quick. My shoulders were hunched toward my ears. In my grief and frustration, I was literally fighting my own body's response to loss. But what if I didn't fight it? I stood there in that quiet chapel and did something I'd never done before. I thanked my body for feeling this pain. I thanked my heart for caring so deeply about my patients. I thanked my mind for seeking better answers. And something extraordinary happened. The tension didn't disappear, but it transformed. The grief was still there, but it felt purposeful, like fuel for something greater. In that moment, I understood what I'd been searching for. This became my 5th and most important rule. End each day by thanking your body for carrying you through. Not gratitude for being healthy or strong or pain-free. Gratitude for simply showing up, for doing its best with whatever the day brought. That evening, I started a practice that changed everything. Before sleep, I would place one hand on my heart and one on my stomach, and I would speak to my body like a trusted friend. Thank you for breathing 22,000 times today without me having to remember. Thank you for healing that small cut on my finger. Thank you for processing my emotions, for carrying my worries, for staying strong when I felt weak. Some nights when arthritis flared in my hands, I would thank them for 70 years of writing prescriptions, holding patients' hands, embracing my grandchildren. The pain didn't vanish, but something deeper shifted. My body stopped feeling like a burden I had to manage and became a partner I was grateful to know. Now you're probably wondering about that dangerous morning practice my colleagues warned against. Every morning at 5:30, while most people are still sleeping, I step outside my house in bare feet. I drink 2 large glasses of cold water, not room temperature, but genuinely cold. Then I spend 5 minutes standing on the bare earth in my garden, breathing deeply, asking my body what it needs for the day ahead. My younger colleagues said the cold water would shock my system. The bare feet would make me catch pneumonia. Standing outside in all weather would weaken my immune system. They were thinking like mechanics trying to protect a delicate machine. But I had learned to think like a partner supporting a wise friend. Cold water doesn't shock my system. It awakens it gently like a loving friend nudging me from sleep. Bare feet don't make me sick. They connect me to something larger than my worries. Standing in my garden doesn't weaken me. It reminds me every day that I am part of something magnificent and alive. For 24 years, I have done this practice. Through rain, snow, summer heat, winter cold. Not because I'm tough or disciplined, but because my body has taught me that it's stronger and wiser than I ever imagined. At 94, I take no daily medications. My blood pressure is better than it was at 60. I sleep 7 hours straight every night. My mind is clear, my energy steady, my heart full of curiosity about what tomorrow might bring. But here's the most important thing I want you to understand. This isn't about following my exact routine. This is about discovering what your body has been trying to tell you, about starting a conversation you may not have had in decades. Your body isn't breaking down randomly. It's responding to how you've been treating it, speaking to it, partnering with it. When you wake up tired, it might be asking for earlier bedtime, not more coffee. When your back aches, it might be asking for movement, not rest. When you feel anxious, it might be asking for deeper breathing, not more distraction. Every symptom is a sentence in a language you can learn to understand. I think about Mrs. Yamamoto, who came to me ready to die at 81. When she started listening to her body instead of fighting it, something beautiful happened. She didn't just get healthier, she got curious again. Last month, she celebrated her 97th birthday by climbing Mount Fuji. Not because she conquered her body, but because she finally learned to dance with it. The secret isn't avoiding death. It's befriending your body's natural wisdom instead of fighting it. It's treating your physical self not as a machine that needs fixing, but as a wise teacher who's been waiting patiently for you to start listening. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, I invite you to try something. Place one hand on your heart and feel it beating. This heart has been working for you every moment of every day since before you were born, never asking for praise or recognition. Take a moment to say thank you. So let's end with the most beautiful truth I've learned in my 94 years. We don't get older, we get wiser. And the wisest teacher we'll ever have has been with us all along, waiting patiently for us to listen. You've earned the right to trust that teacher. Here is a simple action to try right now. Close your eyes for just 10 seconds. Ask your body one question: what do you need? Don't search for an answer. Just create the space for one to arise. The simple act of asking is the whole practice. When you truly listen to your body, what is one simple thing it asks for? Is it a glass of water, a deep breath, a moment of rest? Please share your experience in the comments. Your story can remind us all how to listen. If these heart-to-heart talks about aging with wisdom bring you comfort, I invite you to subscribe and become part of this community. It's a space where everybody is honored and we learn from each other how to live fully at any age. And if you know someone who has been fighting their body instead of befriending it, perhaps this conversation could illuminate a different path for them. Until we speak again, remember to listen.